Welcome, everybody. Another edition of Great Stories Comic Shop Talk. It is a hot July.
Hot in the studio.
It's hot in the studio as well.
Hot in the studio. Hot in the studio again.
Chris, we can't do that. We have to pay royalties at that point.
Oh, sorry.
Cut it. Cut it.
Cut that one, production man, completely.
Yeah.
Keep
I
us
gotcha.
off the lawyer naughty list. Anyway, so we've got a jam-packed lineup here. We're gonna go quick hit though, pretty
Yeah.
much, right?
Yeah.
So
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
we got some. There's a whole lot of war happening. We're gonna be getting into the War of the Realms. We're gonna be doing some Savage Avengers. We're gonna be doing some DC stuff because Tyler's not here again. Look at that, Tyler!
Hi, Tyler.
Dude, was that a cheer for Tyler not being here?
Yay!
Less
Tyler.
negativity. Hi, Tyler. Hi, Mom.
So yeah, we have some Event Leviathan in the lineup here, and what am I missing? The big surprise from
Oh, from our friends at Image Comics.
Image. Not very nice. That was not a nice thing you did to the comic shops. That created a lot of chaos. We got stampeded for all the wrong reasons. Anyway, yeah. So Walking
Demanding
Dead.
money back.
So let's get underway.
All right.
Actually, I failed to mention it, but we have this snazzy little. Since Spider-Man has been like the big topic of the movie,
It's been the
movie
hot
industry
topic.
here for July. We have decided that if you subscribe, like, comment, and share, all four of those things, you get a chance to win this Dan Slott authored Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5 worldwide. So we'll send that to you, and you'll have some nice summer reading
Yeah.
in August.
Nice.
So pretty cool, huh?
Odd choice on Volume 5.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it could be. Yeah, it's a good story.
I just
What
drop
can you say?
him right into it. I mean, it's Spider-Man.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows his
Spider-Man's origins.
backstory.
Everybody does.
Everyone and their brother and mother knows Spider-Man's origin.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Especially since he's the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just offer up the first issue ever, right? The first appearance of Spider-Man. No, I couldn't. Don't have that one. Sorry.
We give him the reprint.
They would give him the reprint.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's okay.
So let's get underway. What are we going to talk about first? I'm going to turn it over to Ken here and let you decide what we talk about first.
I think we're going to talk about War of the Realms.
War of the Realms.
We
Yes.
had briefly touched on this a few months ago.
Yeah, when it first started up. Yeah.
Right. And so this is Marvel's it's been their big summer crossover event. And it's this big story that Jason Aaron has been writing in his Thor story. Malekith, the Dark Elf, basically has been systematically going through the different realms and just conquering them all, taking all the monsters and allies that he's conquered and then bringing them to the big final battle in Midgard, a.k.a. Earth.
Our backyard.
Yes. And it's up to the Avengers and Thor to stop them from taking over everything.
Last stop on the victory train.
So it's all over now. And this was not a story that you could really flesh out in just the main books. I felt like a lot of the story that happened was going on in the tie-in books, which I didn't read all the tie-in books. In fact, I barely read any of them. And just reading the six main titles of the series, there was a lot of information that I felt like I missed.
It felt very disjointed and disconnected, and without that background information from the other tie-ins.
Yeah, I feel like the main event books were pretty much all the knockdown,
Rumble tumble.
exactly, like action sequence stuff, and kind of glossed over the story parts. So you really needed to get the story. You needed to read all these extra issues.
Yeah, a lot of the it looked like a lot of the details were in tie-ins. All of a sudden, like people would be appearing and they have like weapons or powers, or they just allude to a story that happened off panel.
Yep.
And yeah, I think the event itself was actually pretty darn entertaining.
Right.
And
Lots happened.
a lot happened. There's a lot of fallout from this book, but I do think I should get back at some point, and hopefully they'll release this like an Omni or something, where
Yes.
you'll
It's
get
like
all
a
the
full
tie-ins.
story, yeah.
Yeah, you'll get tie-ins, just the whole story, because there was just so much to unpack in this.
That's right.
But I think as a good wrap-up, we can kind of talk about some of the more important things that shook out in the aftermath of War of the Realms.
Sure.
One of the big ones is Thor's back, and not only is Thor back, but he's back wielding Mjolnir.
Sweet.
He was forging Mjolnir in the fires.
In the heart of the sun.
Yeah.
So if we all remember at the end of Jane Foster's run on Thor, she was fighting Magog, right?
Yes.
And in order to defeat him, she chained him Mjolnir and chucked him into the sun. As like, this is the only way we can destroy him, is I gotta destroy this. And in the meantime, in the process, destroying the hammer. And as we know, during that time, she was fighting cancer, and basically the power of Thor was the only thing that was keeping her alive.
Yep.
But somehow she's alive still, and she's been working as All Mother, and like the sit-in for the All Father during this entire time. That was kind of confusing.
Just hand wave it. Just hand wave it because of the power of cool.
The power of cool.
Just, just,
I am a firm
more
believer
plot
in that
armor?
rule.
just hammer right through it.
Yep. Just don't even ask. Just keep going.
More plot armor.
Don't worry about it. A wizard did it.
Yes.
But it was really cool because Thor's been without his hammer for
A while now.
5 years
A long time.
since
Has it been
original
5 years?
Since Original Sin, when he was basically told by, I believe, like a Watcher, like Nick Fury, the Watcher, that he whispered something in Thor's ear that made him drop the hammer and not feel like he was worthy of picking it up. Since then, he's wielded other hammers, but they've been sort of just like knockoff hammers. It hasn't been the real Mjolnir.
That's right. Yep.
And there's also Stormbreaker.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got his axes and
The ultimate Thor's weapon, which he didn't pick up,
Yep.
and just like a handful of other weapons that
Volstags.
Yeah.
Yep.
there was the one with the the shard of Mjolnir that was made from that, but
That's right. Which was used to fell the frost giant.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which was really sweet, actually.
That was
We'll-
a nice moment.
Do you want to just talk about that moment? Because
Sure,
that was one
go
of the
right
cool.
ahead.
That was kind of one of the coolest moments, right?
Absolutely.
So
My favorite moment.
in issue 1, when we were reviewing it, we talked about this, that Loki kind of meets his untimely demise when he's eaten by the frost giant, and we was like, holy crap, he's just devoured.
Shocking moment.
Yeah, it was crazy. And during this run,
sorry, they mentioned earlier my glasses were causing a glare.
so
So
you give me like the librarian eyes. He's got the bun up too.
oh, stop. Continue with your story.
Quiet over there. Quiet on the set.
Sorry.
So during this series, Daredevil gains the powers of what's his face there, Heimdall.
Heimdall.
Heimdall, yeah.
Heimdall. And in doing so, also grabs like his sword. After destroying the Bifrost, Daredevil goes back down to Midgard to fight in the final battle, and they're fighting against the Frost Giant King. And at one point, Daredevil chucks his sword, and like it ricochets around, and he ends up being swallowed by the Frost Giant, right?
Yes, that's right.
And
Picks it up and eats it.
he just eats it, and we're like, oh, well, that was kind of a waste.
Yeah.
That was like your last weapon that you could have potentially hurt him with.
Yeah.
Hey, that's really weird. Why'd you do that?
Why'd you do that? And
What
then
happened?
a few panels later, we get an alien moment where so you see the
Yeah,
sword.
Tyler would have thought it was very cute.
Yeah. Loki's little line there was like a Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liner. Was it something you ate?
And he just carves his way out of his belly.
I'll be back. I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good moment.
That was good.
I liked it.
Although it kind of cheapens the death of Loki in the beginning, but then again, comics,
That's right.
Yeah, no one ever dies in comics. Also, Loki never dies ever,
No.
you know.
No.
except apparently when Thanos does it.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Cinematic universe.
We still got more movies coming. He might be back. You don't know. Call this number.
He'll be back in a TV show at least.
Yeah.
Or a Netflix. No, not Netflix. Disney Plus streaming show.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loki. The Adventures of Loki, or whatever it is. I can't
The
remember.
Loki Adventures of Loki.
Down, keep it down the down low.
Don't tell anyone. Except on Disney Infinity.
But then they tease out some directions for the characters
Sure.
at the end.
Yep.
Which I thought was kind of weird. It was like they just basically like sauntering off and saying what they're going to go do.
Yeah.
You know, like I thought it was a little bit awkward, a couple of them. One of them was like Venom, who had just been
Turned
separated.
into a sword for a large portion of this series. He's been a sword.
Basically, yeah. It was like, and he's like, all right, got to go take care of Carnage.
Yeah. It's like,
See you later,
okay.
guys.
Okay, bye. Wait, Venom. Why
they-
are you talking in proper sentences now?
You know, Logan's like, hey, have a beer with me, Frank. No, my war's not over. You know,
Yeah.
such a typical
Okay.
Frank Castle,
Yeah.
typical Wolverine moment. You know, it's drink
They
beer.
want to bro out.
I mean, obviously, he should have offered the beer to Thor. He
Yeah.
would have been
He would have
definitely
been more
a taker.
inclined.
Maybe Thor's turned a page.
Maybe
Maybe it's
Maybe
part
that's what made
now
him
that he's
worthy
got
of being
more
Thor again.
responsibility.
now that he's worthy again.
Now that he's worthy, he's
You are
king
worthy
of the
when
unworthy.
sober.
King, yeah. Now he's the god of the unworthy.
God
right?
of the unworthy. That's right.
And with the unworthy being the other god, so he's kind of like a god amongst gods, I believe.
yeah, pretty
Yep.
much. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Odin has kneeled to him as
Yeah.
the all-father Thor.
Yeah.
Well, that was a big moment.
That was a pretty cool
Yeah,
moment.
for legions of Thor fans.
Yeah.
So,
Tyler was thrilled.
If
If he actually
Tyler
read
were
it.
here, yes,
He might have actually read this. Yeah.
He probably would have, and he probably would have been doing cartwheels in the hallway here at Public Access TV.
Oh, look, he's doing it now. No, I'm just kidding. He's not actually here doing that.
But yeah, so all in all, I mean, definitely, I echo your sentiments. I hope there's an omnibus in the future
Yeah.
here, because I think, and hopefully, Marvel will break it down and give it to us chronologically, so
Yes.
it makes all the sense in the world for us to read it straight through,
Right.
and not just
Just-
part it out. So
This isn't the whole set, is
we
it? Or
need
is
a
this all?
new-
Yeah. No, that's just the 6 main
That's-
series.
that's it.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the main series, guys. Look how thick this is. It's only 6 issues. It's like, wait, there's too many books.
Yeah.
Too many books. Combine it into one so we can get your full story. Thank you, Marvel.
That's going to be a thick book, though.
Yeah.
Think about, like, that's probably going to be like this thick.
I remember
Yeah.
we were going through this the story. We were going through all the different tie-ins. I mean, like each
Yeah.
one had like 4 issues into it, and there must have been like I don't know 6 or 7 different titles.
It's gonna
something
be
like
that's
that,
gonna be
yeah.
a box collection.
You had,
Avengers had one.
was it Avengers?
Avengers.
I know Uncanny X-Men. You had Strike Force.
There was the Spider-Man tie-in.
You had the
there was-
Spider-Man
Spider-Man one.
tie-in. Daredevil had a tie-in.
Mhm.
Punisher had a tie-in.
Oh, yeah. Some of the individual long-running books had,
Yeah.
had tie-ins.
Then like
That's
there's like
true.
Agents
Good
of
point.
Atlas.
Yes.
They had their own miniseries based off of it.
Yeah, the new agents. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just there were a ton of books that tied into this.
Yeah.
I'd really like to read it as a complete thing because you could tell that these books were trying to do their best to give you the Cliff's Note version of like everything that happened,
Right.
and then move the plot along.
Yeah.
But there were just so many big moments that just
Doesn't do it justice.
it doesn't. I really would want to read this again once it comes out in a collected edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, and one other thing that didn't
Yes.
come out of this, that just came out of this week's War of the Realms Omega issue, which is the end cap to the series. Another fallout was Jane Foster's character. If you remember during the series, Valkyrie had fallen in, I think, issue 2. Malekith basically just like slaughters her.
Yes.
And Jane Foster now takes up the role as Valkyrie.
Ooh.
That's big.
That's
I hadn't
pretty
read that
cool.
issue yet, so yeah,
Well,
that's big news.
Spoiler ahead.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
Oops! Accidental spoil.
No, I
That's
mean,
okay.
you must have seen that. You have the posters up for like the new Valkyrie up in the store.
I do. Yes, that's true.
So you must have already had some kind of inkling that
I
this was going to
got
happen.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah, that's right. My wife spoiled it for me.
All right. I won't feel as guilty now.
All right.
All right, so that's
Uh,
cool. So
Yeah. War of the Realms, when it's all
War of the
one big
Realms.
book,
Yeah.
come look it up.
that's right. Or find your back issues at your local comic shop. Yes.
Yep.
Great stories. Anyway,
All right.
what do
so
we got next?
moving on, we've got issue 3 of Savage Avengers.
Savage.
The return of the always popular Savage Avengers.
Ooh,
Yes,
yeah.
we know we've been covering this for the last couple months, but it's coming out monthly. So
Yep.
you know, as the story progresses, we want to keep you guys posted on what's going on.
We do. We've been liking this book.
Yeah, this book's been really good. This series has been really good.
Mm-hmm.
So just continue from where we left off last time. Let's see, we have Frank Castle is the Punisher is in the city of Sickle. And he is absolutely tearing his way through all the members of the Hand that stand in his way, except for one, because we find out it's actually Elektra.
Yes, that's right.
So Elektra has joined the ranks in the Savage Avengers, which I like that. That's always cool.
that is cool. Great
So
character.
she's following Punisher along just to kind of mitigate the damage that the wizard is trying to do with the wizard Kulan Goth.
Cool and goth, yes.
Kulan Goth. A
Yep.
wizard did it. He's ready to basically perform the final sacrifice to release his god.
Emotep. Emotep.
Close,
Yeah.
but no. Jotun Law, the Marrow god, who I'm still convinced is just a giant symbiote, because he looks a
He
lot
looks
like a symbiote.
Very much so.
Uh-huh.
So, is it Dr. Voodoo comes in, tries to save Logan by killing Goth, but ultimately he can't do it. Like, he just like sticks him, and he's like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
And we find Conan has been pursued by what the comic calls the genie that he released. It's Venom.
The genie, yes.
Yes, the genie in a bottle
in a
that
bottle.
Conan accidentally smashed open. It's
Christina Aguilera is not happy right now.
no, she's
with that reference.
if she read comics, I'm sure she'd be very upset about this. But yeah, Conan's being followed by Venom, and he makes his way to the sacrificial pit where Goth is just constantly stabbing Logan and letting blood just pour into this vat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
you know,
regeneration is filling that pool.
right.
So
Very well.
that's a problem. And all of our characters make it to the pit, and Conan comes in basically with a bargaining chip with the amulet that he stole off of the wizard's body.
Which is the Eye of Agamotto, right?
I believe it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. Let me just double check that.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Survey says it is. Okay.
Trust the man on the left.
Trust the comic book man.
You're right.
So, Goth basically like steals the amulet back, and in the process mortally wounds Conan. And
He punches a hole right through his
Yeah.
damn chest.
yeah, yeah, Conan's a pretty tough dude. He's taken a lot, but fist through the chest might be a new one for him.
Could be.
So Conan is basically on his knees. Death is coming for him, and who should step in but the genie for whom Conan has released? Venom comes sliding on in through the chest cavity
Through
and
the
into,
gaping hole of his chest.
yes, and we
Invite.
get. Say again.
No, nothing. Go ahead.
Okay.
Please go on.
Sorry, I thought I heard something. Conan gets back up by the power of Venom. Starts.
I thought you were going to say by the power of Grayskull for a second.
By the power of. Oh wait, copyrights. Venom. Yeah, Conan kills just everyone around him because the symbiote is telling him to kill them all. And Conan thinks that it's Crom talking to him.
Yes, he does.
So
Crom, I hear.
he follows the word of his symbiote god, and finally like releases the rest of, like, he kills enough people that the sacrifice is ready to be performed, and our closing shot is Jotun Law towering over everybody, rising up from his pool of blood, and we get a hard cut.
Big trouble for you.
So what's going to happen next? I don't know yet, and I'm excited to find out. So apart from a pretty quick synopsis of that, like, was there anything that stood out to you guys? I mean,
It was a fast-paced issue.
yeah,
this
it really
time
was.
around.
Like, there was
not much exposition. It was basically just
it was action, like,
Yeah.
from the get-go.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about this book, I thought, you know, it was like Conan's not scary enough. You know, it's
Yeah,
Conan
seriously.
with a symbiote. You know,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
And
Let's take the strongest man in the room and make him just absolutely insane too.
Yep.
I thought there was a really funny part in this book where Conan rescues Wolverine, who has been, like, you know, basically being flayed over this pit.
Yes.
And he's like incapacitated. His healing factor hasn't gotten to the point where he's conscious. Conan needs him to fight. So he, like, just picks him up Wolverine's claws retracted because, like, he's in, you know, he's out, and Conan's just swinging him around like a rag doll, and Wolverine's limp arms
body just flailing in the wind.
slicing people around him was hysterical.
My favorite part of that my favorite part of that dialogue was he's like, "This noble dwarf and I will."
Noble dwarf.
I like how he keeps calling him he keeps referring to him like Pabst, right? Because like.
Oh,
The beer?
The beer he was
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, because I think he thinks Pabst is his version of like Crom. So he's like, yeah, by the power of Pabst, get up.
I also like that. I do like that Conan constantly refers to Logan as very short, because he's just this very angry furry short man, and I just like that Conan's like embraces this, and he's just like, yes, this man is short, but he is my friend, and he's very angry, and I
Yes.
will use him as a weapon.
There's some very endearing moments in this book. Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I feel like Wolverine and Conan need to have their own like series.
They absolutely
after
do.
this.
They should-
They need to bro out
Yes.
and just
Yeah.
travel the Savage Lands together, because they will have a great time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
need to make that comic now.
I will pay significantly a bit more than what I've been paying for Savage Avengers for a buddy cop travel story with Conan and Wolverine.
Indeed.
But
Indeed.
how good has Conan been? I just want to take a second to just say like how good Conan has been.
I know,
coming
right?
into the Marvel universe. I know we were all a little
Skeptical,
wary,
but
you know, we were all a little wary about how he was going to fit in, what their plans were. But man, he's fitting in. Just
he's endeared himself, and he's gotten into the
completely.
mix of it. Like he fits.
yeah, he does.
Yeah. In a way, I never dreamed of him blending in so well.
Yeah,
You know, I thought it was going to come off very artificial, but it hasn't.
it's worked very well so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
It will be interesting because like right now he still is like that guy from another universe, you know, and trying to figure out what's going on in the Marvel universe. It'd be interesting to see how his character evolves as he becomes like more of a mainstay in the
Right.
universe and becomes more comfortable with the other characters and
Yeah.
what's going on. Because a lot of his charm right now is because he's like a man out of his world, right? A man out.
I mean,
of
that's kind of the
place.
charm of this entire book is everyone is out of their respective worlds.
So I think to that point, Phil, correct.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think they're actually, you know, not having Conan just come all the way over to Marvel Universe.
Like
They're
boom,
kind
right
of
into
bringing
like New York, yeah, right.
Yeah, they're
almost
bridging
like
the gap.
bringing some of the Marvel Comics characters kind of over here
Yeah,
to kind of meet
him halfway.
Yeah, they're meeting him halfway,
in a
and
story
it's-
that really kind of fits the
yeah,
tone
it fits
of what
both
a
of
Conan
them,
story.
like both their styles. Yeah,
Exactly. So
Because,
they
like-
did a nice job of balancing it.
exactly. Like we mentioned at the beginning, the rogues gallery that we see at the beginning, which is like, you know, Thor, Wolverine, the Punisher. Now we have characters like, you
How
know,
could you forget the opera singer?
you know, I'm sorry, opera singer. Rip in peace. No, it's like we have
No,
characters
sure,
like Elektra and Doctor Voodoo. Like we have like characters that we don't usually see outside of like their respective comics. Like they very rarely cross over into, different stories, and now we have them in this unique setting of the Savage Lands with Conan in this story. Which, by the way, guys, I love this story. It's so good, guys. Read it, love it, absorb it like I have.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes out, it's my first read
Yeah.
each week. Like I'm like, oh, I'm grabbing that one right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great art.
Great art. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I think this is going to be one of Mike. Sorry, not Mike. Mike Diodato. I think this is his last issue before he leaves Marvel, because he's been exclusive on Marvel for a long time,
Right.
and he puts out some of their best interior work. I feel. And I guess after 20 some odd years or however long it's been, they've been working there exclusively. He's gonna now leave and do independent books.
Okay, well,
Okay.
you know what? We wish him good luck in
Yeah.
his future endeavors, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for him because his art is aces,
Yep.
out of this world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So good luck, dude.
So
Moving
what do
on.
what do
we
we got
have
next?
DC's Event Leviathan,
Ooh.
which
Leviathan.
I haven't been completely caught up on, but
Mm-hmm.
I've read the first issue. So,
Okay. Well, I've
Chris,
read,
why don't you take the reins on that one?
I've read a couple issues here. I don't know if anything preceded it. Did anything tease this book before the actual proper title came out?
I'm glad you asked, Chris.
Ken, educate us.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
This is written by Brian Michael Bendis, who, as we know, came to DC recently, and he was given the Superman books. He's writing Superman and Action Comics.
Okay.
So this Leviathan, which is this kind of big organization, like this evil organization, has been teased in the Superman books.
Okay.
Okay.
But we don't really know too much about it. We know that they were created by Talia al Ghul,
Uh-huh.
daughter of Raj and mother of Batman's baby boy Damian.
Yes.
And there's this big crime organization they're not really sure what their plans are, but they've been slowly kind of working in the shadows, kind of making moves here and there. There was an attempt to kidnap Superman at one point that didn't go right. So they were making some big power moves. They really weren't sure what was going to happen. Event Leviathan basically kicks off whatever their grandmaster schemes are.
Right.
And it starts with a takedown of every major information gathering organization. So it was like
Right.
Argus went
Argus.
down.
Yep, Argus, there was,
Dio went down. There was the Task Force X got hit.
Yes.
Basically, anyone that was in the intel business got hit, and not only got hit, but they got absolutely obliterated.
Right.
So, Superman's currently missing, and Lois Lane is out. She's on the case.
Yep.
She's gathering a team of detectives. You got like Batman. You got the Question. You have
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow is in
Arrow.
it. So she's gathering all these detectives to kind of get to the bottom of who this Leviathan is and what their goals are. They know that they're making a big play for something huge, but we have no idea what they're doing. And we
Right.
don't know who's actually pulling the strings. It doesn't. They know that it was originally started by Talia.
Talia, but Batman said himself that this didn't necessarily seem like how Talia would operate.
Right.
Um,
Or how like somebody like Lex Luthor might, like they had their suspicions, but
The usual rogues gallery has kind of been dismissed as chief suspects behind this.
yes.
Right.
And actually, their list of chief suspects that they have are all people we consider allies. Like Lois Lane is considered.
yeah,
a
she's
suspect.
considered Leviathan.
Her father's considered potential Leviathan. And in issue 2, sorry to spoil it for you, but
No, it's okay. I don't.
the character that they really push as far as who's behind this is Jason Todd, the Red Hood.
Red Hood.
Really?
Which was shocking, and this this didn't come lightly. This was done by the Bat family. Like Damian's the one that's really pointing him, like, hey, all the signs are pointing that it's you, man. So what's up?
That hurts.
And then Jason Todd just kind of like neither confirms nor denies and just breaks the hell out.
Right.
Yeah. interesting, but it has everybody just, that whole like suspicion. It's you. It's you. I think it's you. What you're saying doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You get that moment there where Steve Trevor, who has survived the attack on Argus for whatever reason,
we don't know why. We don't know why.
He
Why
doesn't
was he
even know
spared?
why.
Right. So,
They assume that he was there to witness it and then tell the tale.
yes.
But there was, and then Batman realizes two things. Like, one, okay, this is done purposely. Two, this place has been wiped out completely, so there's no trace. And that in itself was a clue that this is obviously done by somebody who truly understands the way that the different superheroes operate.
Right.
That's right. So, but he shoots Lois Lane.
Yes, he does.
Before Green Arrow targets him
Yeah.
and drops him.
Right.
Not kill him, but
Tases him.
incapacitates him.
Tases him with the power of Taser Arrow.
Yeah. But then you have in the second issue, don't you have Plastic Man has an interesting... yeah, why'd you laugh? Plastic Man.
Sorry. Just...
There's someone who's going to
forget.
be watching this video who's going to be very upset about you laughing at my mention of Plastic Man.
Plastic Man's kind of a funny guy. He's kind of an oddball
apparently I'm
character.
just offending everyone today, so why not just keep the ball going?
So all fans of Plastic Man,
Relax, Brandon. I know
All
you're out
five.
there watching.
love you.
I don't speak for everyone. I just speak for me. Just so don't at these guys. Just at me.
For what I remember on
Yes.
Plastic Man, he was investigating the shooting. So they were going to visit Lois's father. Lois's father had a heart attack, and he was in the hospital. And the Question was there, and she was keeping an eye on him to see if like anyone would come back to try to finish the job, right? And then at one point, an agent of Leviathan shows up, and somehow Lois's father like comes out of his coma, shoots the dude in the head. Takes a shot at Question. Question's able to bug out before he gets nailed.
Yep.
But Batman wants to go back. He wants to get the body of this agent of Leviathan because he knows like this thing's got to be just chock full of clues as to who they are, where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
They don't find anything.
No.
They
Oh,
don't
of
get
course
it
not.
though. So they sent Plastic Man to go do the recovery operation, and
And he has a back and forth with
yeah.
the masked character,
Yeah.
who is, we assume, what the face of
We assume is the mastermind behind Leviathan.
behind Leviathan,
Yes.
the unknown person.
And I don't know, you notice he does have a red hood on.
Yeah, he has a red hood, but he's also got like a metal mask with like electronic lights on it. Like,
Something
that's
tells me there's like a leading of the witness type of thing going on there.
You think it's the red herring?
Yeah.
The red
yeah,
hood.
it's the red herring hood.
The red hood herring.
Yeah. Red herring hood. Yep. So, but yeah, so, I mean, entertaining first two issues for
So,
sure. And I
can I
didn't
just
have the
have a
benefit of the previous, the run up with Bendis's. I kind of lost track of Bendis's Superman run, so the whole thing with Leviathan was kind of a mystery to me. I didn't really know what that was all about.
So is Leviathan like a completely new entity in the DC universe?
I think so. I mean,
Because I've never heard of Leviathan before.
I haven't either, and this might be just Bendis trying to put his own, like, kind of make his mark
Right.
immediately by bringing in this new big bad and this new big organization that's like, challenging all the established organizations in DC.
Yep.
Right, and if that's what he's doing, I mean, good for him, man.
Yeah, and I love this team. Alex Maleev is Bendis's artist. They've worked together in Marvel in the past. They did stuff like Jessica Jones, and they've had
Fantastic run on Jessica Jones.
Yeah, they've had just a lot of success together as a creative team. So I have a lot of confidence in this series. I think the first two episodes, the dialogue's been great. They've really built this sense of suspense and mystery, and it's really got me hooked. And I'm really actually super excited for this event, which for DC events, I can't remember the last time I said that.
Yeah. No, that's telling right there. I'm definitely in. I can't wait for issue number 3.
Yeah.
So quickly, let's turn our attention to our friends over at Image.
Okay, so the big crazy news that came out last month was that the Walking Dead comic came to a series finale, and it came out of nowhere. So Walking Dead and Kirkman have been releasing their solicits monthly for, these issues leading up to issue 193, which just came out. And they also issued solicits for 194, 195, 196. Like,
Yep.
we were going to get more issues. Now,
Right.
when we talked last month, we talked about Rick dying. And Kirkman has always said that this Walking Dead story is not necessarily a story about zombies and survivors. It's Rick's story. The story revolves around him. It opens with him, him coming out from a coma in this
Right.
new zombie apocalypse world. And he always said that the series would end with Rick's death. And we had Rick's death, but there were more issues
There were
being
more issues
advertised.
slated.
So
Yeah.
we're assuming, and he's kind of also said that this story could go 200, 300 issues.
Yeah.
Like he had the material. So there was this belief that he was just going to continue on, with
Right.
the story after Rick. And then issue 193 comes out, and it's the end. No notice to the shops.
No notice at all. I mean, we found out basically the week of the release
Right.
that this was going
Yeah.
to be it.
It was too late for you to up your orders at that point.
Yep.
Like whatever you ordered was what it was. And
Right.
every shop, like I was super busy that week, so I didn't get down to my shop on Wednesday.
Yep.
And by the time I did, they were all sold out. And that's like a $30, $40 book on eBay right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're waiting for the reprint to figure out what happened.
Yeah, I didn't get to read it either. So
Me neither.
it's maybe you can tell us what happened.
Yeah,
Anyway.
if you've read the last issue of Walking Dead, tell us in the comments below. We will read it.
Yep. And yeah, so that's thanks Kirkman. Thanks Image. Appreciate it. Not
Thanks,
sure
Rick.
what to say about that. That was pretty bizarre. Bizarre ending.
I know there's definitely a sense of sarcasm there, but
Yeah.
in all sincerity, but I got thank you, Robert Kirkman, for making
True.
The Walking Dead. I mean,
Yes.
this was, say what you will about how he ended it. The series itself was fantastic, and it really kicked off the zombie craze that we had seen in the last decade. Now,
Right. The
Granted,
modern.
Extremely
right.
influential.
zombies had been popular before with like Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and such.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
The
Romero.
Romero films, right? But Walking Dead really brought it into the current generation and a whole new audience of zombie lovers. I mean, the zombie
Yeah.
craze was just insane for a while. You do like people doing Tough Mudders, but they'd have zombies chasing them. This was like insane stuff.
Right.
It was everywhere in popular culture, and it was in no small part due to
The Walking
Kirkman's
Dead and
Walking
its
Dead,
success. Yeah.
whether the comic or the show. So
I like how basically The Walking Dead just brought zombies into the mainstream. So it wasn't just like a niche thing that only like weirdos like.
right,
The Walking Dead basically made zombies
acceptable.
acceptable and a cultural mainstay. Like I work in a tech building. At least 6 people on my floor, like at least once a week, will wear a Walking Dead T-shirt.
Yeah.
And one guy, when I was working with him, would just be like, "Hey, did you see the new episode of The Walking Dead?" I'm like, "I saw it. It was all right." He goes, "Oh, dude, it was so good. Negan." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, dude. It's all good."
Yeah. I think horror fans were finally brought into the mainstream with The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They weren't looked at as being like the outcasts weirdos anymore for
Yeah.
liking, crazy, violent, abhorrent horror.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hey, Kirkman was extremely influential and will continue to be.
Yeah.
I think he's a creative genius.
Yeah.
So
And
So
we're
good on
looking
him
forward
for
to see
that.
whatever
So,
project he sinks his teeth into next.
yes,
and,
I apologize for my sarcasm, but
Oblivion Song is his current project that he's doing in Image, and I believe it might be getting optioned for a show. There's rumors that that's going to get optioned, but
what's it called?
Oblivion Song?
Oblivion Song.
Oblivion Song.
Yeah, I believe we may have actually gone over it on one of our previous talks.
Yeah, way back,
Yeah.
we did talk about it. So,
Good series. It's
I'll have to look it up.
it's more like sci-fi
Ooh.
with monsters. It's actually be right up your alley.
there you go. There you
I like monsters.
go. Phil likes monsters.
But congratulations to Robert Kirkman and your series. It was fantastic. Really good job. And
Yeah.
We look forward to what else you have in store for us.
I think Walking Dead will be something that is remembered for generations.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
this is going to be something that I imagine we'll see Walking Dead and that franchise come back from the dead.
Yes.
It'll rise again, so to speak.
Very possibly.
Yeah.
So that is all the time we have for you this month, but we appreciate you watching. We'd love to hear your comments, and we'd love to know what you'd like for us to talk about in future episodes. So please do chime in and let your opinion be heard. So thank you very much again, and until next time, folks.
Peace out.
Bye.
Hey guys, you know how we said we wanted to keep it about 40 minutes? We're at 40 minutes and 2 seconds.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. We did it. We did it in
because
one.
We were told that.